This third tip that I have for you in checking your values is to practice using one color to create an entire painting. So in this case, I am using this pear, and we have filtered it to black and white so that we can more easily see those values. And we're just going to do a painting using only Winsor Violet and our medium. So since we've been sticking with purples for the theme of the day, we're going to go ahead and do this one in Winsor Violet. You can choose any color you want. To get those lighter values, I'm using a little bit more medium and a little bit less pigment. And I'm going to start by coming in and just kind of sketching a generalized shape. Now notice that Winsor Violet goes dark really fast. So if you feel like it's going too dark too soon, go ahead and just dab some of that excess color on your paper towel. Pick up a little more medium, and that should thin that down enough to where you're getting a much lighter value. So I always start off kind of getting a watercolory feel first and just get a generalized shape. Next step is for me to come in with those mid-tones so they're not too dark and not too light. Knowing that I can come over some of these mid-tones and go even darker. It's harder to go lighter though. You can dab a little bit of your color off with the paper towel if necessary, but you want to try to start off keeping those values fairly light because you can always build on them. Sometimes I'll even just pick up the medium, and whatever little bit of color is in the brush, I'll just let that kind of drag across the surface, keeping those values nice and light. So if I want to get even lighter, and I've already put a tint or a color down, what I can do is make sure the brush is rinsed out, and I can pick up a little bit of that solvent and just come in and do a little bit of erasing. Now, I'm using oil paper, so it's not going to erase out as easily. But if I put that solvent on there and come in by rolling up the paper towel into a point, I can always dab a little bit of that off to lighten just slightly. Works much better if you're using a gesso board. That's why it's important not to go too dark too soon. All right, looking for those darkest values. I'm going to come in and punch some of those really dark values in down underneath where that cast shadow is. And I just took a little medium and I'm just pulling that color out and allowing it to lighten as it gets further away from the pear. really roughly, we're going to scribble in a little bit of tint here. And we're going to punch in some more of those darkest values here on the stem. It gets darker down in through here. Now I have some reflective light hitting on this side, so I don't necessarily want to take the dark color all the way over. So I'm just going to put that dark value, pick up a little bit of solvent, and then blend it out to the edge and allow that to gradually lighten. Coming back in with some darks down here towards the base. Looking for those contours of the pear. Step back, make an assessment. Picking up just medium, and we're just going to pull this edge out and soften it a little bit. Let it be a little more of a gradual change in that dark to light, in that value. Coming in and trying to lighten this up just slightly, because there's a nice highlight right through here. Just going to finish out the background. We want to make sure we've got enough contrast between the foreground and the background. So I'm making sure my brush is clean, picking up just the salt, or just the medium, blending that down so that pear will really stand out against our background. Making one last assessment, we want to punch those darkest values in. So I'm picking up straight Winsor Violet with no medium. Looking for those darkest values. Really punching those up. That's what's going to give it depth. Okay, just a simple exercise, really great exercise on learning to get those darkest values versus the light values so that you've got plenty of contrast in your painting just by using one color plus medium.